Oh my god, what am I doing? Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Just Thinking Out Loud. I don't know what this video is. I wanted to do something lighthearted and something that I was actually thinking about recently. So it is straying from the kind of topics that I've done in the past. The new Game of Thrones season came out and I know lots of people were watching it, and I was thinking to myself, why are people so interested in shows like this where there's a lot of violence and bloodlust and conquering, and there's also character development, so I don't think it's rubbish, and there's good plot and drama and suspense. It's sort of like a thriller, and there's some mystery, and then there's romance. But what makes Game of Thrones different for a lot of people is that it shows humans basically doing horrible things and baseless acts. And why do so many people watch it who I think are normal people? I haven't watched it in a really long time. I think since the end of season 3 or 4, so I have no idea what's going on, but I do know what the show is like. And I did see some scene of Daenerys looking at some guys, you know what. So I was like, oh, it's probably not the same thing. Why are people watching this show? And I think it's fantasy, so it is a way for us to put ourselves in the shoes of someone else and do amazing things. Amazing and awful, not just meaning good, but amazing and awful meaning explore the extent of what it means to be human. In a way, our world itself is cruel and horrible, and there are people fighting for power. So that's a way for others to empathize with characters. Fiction is a way of exploring our inner dialogues and wrestling with what happens in the outside world. So what I'm trying to say by that is, you know, when you go to sleep at night, you have all these visions that come into your head. And for me personally, I have extremely vivid dreams. I will see my imagination, like I can see myself falling asleep, and I see the light appear, and I can actually see my thoughts forming the image in front of me and changing it. And I lucid dream a lot, so I make things change once I know that I'm dreaming. So I think fiction is a way of releasing those workings of the imaginations into a format that is structured and that we can fully explore the cohesive narrative that we were thinking of in our minds. And there are some people who do that better than us. That's why we like writers and people who can put that out into words. But specifically for Game of Thrones, in terms of the sex and the violence, I think it's a way for us to explore those parts of us that are still within our psyche. And you know, it's a part of who we are. It's our reptilian brain. A lot of people in the Western world aren't living in war-torn zones or places where there is a lot of violence, but that's still very common, and we still need to be able to do that if that ever comes to pass where we have to defend ourselves. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I see it as a way of navigating the different personalities that are within us that we can't really express openly in society for good reason. So it's a way of us living that drama out. I used to be a pretty big fan of anime and Asian dramas. By Asian, I mean Japanese, Chinese, Korean, Taiwanese. I think I even watched, forget the name of the place. Thailand. There we go. Something I noticed, especially with the Japanese stuff, is that it's very extreme. Like, it goes to the very limits of the human imagination. I always think there is nothing that somebody could imagine that they have not come up with if you want to look at Japanese manga. It's so well thought out and detailed, which I really like. It's like you see the full exploration of the imagination with not a lot of boundaries on it. And in some ways you're thinking, oh, this is so horrific, but isn't that a way to release all of that in a way that it does not actually impact us in the real world when we're interacting with people? We can explore those thoughts, maybe dangerous ideas, and channel it into something that allows people to release any negative emotions or explore negative feelings inside of them. And because most stories tend to have a happy ending, or okay, that's not true. Not all stories have a happy ending, but it allows you to dialogue with yourself by seeing other characters go through a scenario that maybe you can empathize with because you have been going through it, or you know someone that has gone through it. So you are struggling with something inside yourself, but you can struggle with it through another person and watch how they deal with a situation through their own character development or their own traits, and what traits would be useful in a certain situation, etc. You could say it's projection of the author, but if so many people like it, then that means that a lot of other people connect and it resonates with them. And there's a lot of stuff I didn't like. I didn't like watching a lot of the way they treat women in there. It's kind of like soft porn at some times. Again, I think that you could say, oh, this is so horrible and awful, but I'm pretty sure both women and men watch it and they're both exploring things that are interesting to them, and it's better to explore it there than in the real world. And an interesting fact that I think a lot of people know is that the increase of viewership in porn decreases incidents of actual rape. So I do think it's better to release all of that stuff. And again, with the Japan stuff, they have very low rates of criminality, but their imaginative work is very extreme. I think there might be a link there. I just had this idea. I don't know if it's a bit crazy, but thinking about this topic, maybe persons in prison who have committed violent acts, do you think it could possibly be useful for them to write out stories and write out different scenarios of what they would like to do, or their own stories or fictional stories where they again struggle and dialogue with themselves in certain situations and deal with them, except through fiction? I don't know if that's really crazy, but that's an interesting idea. No, I just thought about that. Anyway, I have no idea what's going on in that show. I don't want to get caught up into it because it will suck up a lot of my time. That's straight opinion, really. Just me talking off the top of my head. And I will probably do more videos like this, but I'll try and go back to my other stuff. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. I actually mean that. I know I say it at the end of every video I do, but really, have a good day. Don't forget to comment and subscribe. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters. Bye. I want to sleep. I woke up early and couldn't go back to sleep, and now I have to make this video.